You guys already know I'm Dolapo Oshoffa. Today is a special one. We have an iconic man, a great man, a veteran with us today. It's actually a huge privilege to have him around, He's so busy. But I kept on saying, no, Daddy, you have to come. We can't wait to have you on Dolapo Oshoffa's YouTube channel. And here we have him today. Welcome, sir. Good to have you around.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir, because we know you hardly have a leisure. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So, sir, can we get to know you more?
Well, my name is Kayode Ajala. I used to be a journalist writer. Years back, I was editor of News.
Yeah, we all know that.
Magazine.
Yeah.
I became editor of News at the age of 23.
Wow.
That was a good time.
23.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I've worked in the media all my life. From Hints, I went on to Hearts.
Wow.
And after Hearts, I was a contributing writer for the Sunday Punch. I held a full-page column in the Sunday Punch for about 2 years. I've written for quite a lot of papers. Written for the Tribune, Compass, Vision.
That's huge. That's huge.
Independence.
Wow.
Been around for a while.
That's highly inspiring. Like, you came up with Hints at the age of 23.
No, I didn't come up with Hints.
Okay.
I was one of the pioneers of Hints.
Oh,
Hints
okay.
was conceived, started by Dr. Ibe Kachiku, who brought us together. We were quite a wonderful team at that time. This was in 1988. The magazine took off in 1989. We were interviewed in 1988, and we had to wait for a year before the magazine took off in March 1989.
Wow.
I was employed as an editorial executive, which was the equivalent of a staff writer. Yes, in March 1989. And then within 1 year of that employment, I got promoted about 3 or 4 times.
Interesting.
I became senior editorial executive, then I became deputy editor, and I became editor.
Wow.
All within 1 year.
That's highly inspiring, sir. That's highly inspiring. And from there, you saw a home.
Yes, I was quite young at that time, so it was all like a whirlwind. Everything happened so fast, and I just got sucked up into all the action.
Any man that had potentials in him that was just waiting for opportunity to.
Yes.
Oh, that's highly inspiring, sir. Yeah. So can we go a little bit into your private life?
Sure.
So, sir, you married?
Yes.
Actually, I know you have a beautiful wife. I shouldn't be saying that, but then for a lot of people out there who don't really know much about you. Yeah. Happily married.
Yeah, I'm very happily married for about how many years now? About 22 years. 21, 22 years.
That's over 2 decades.
Yeah.
So how do you juggle it? Because you have a balanced home and work-wise, career-wise, it's not so easy to mingle such.
Well, it can be easy. It depends on your priorities. At a much younger age, one was involved in a lot of activities and a lot of exposure. But as I grew older, you begin to calm down, the exposure reduced, and then you get your priorities right. It's all about knowing what you want and being able to do it.
Yeah, I'm actually learning from you because I'm quite newly married and to an extent I'm career driven. So I believe it's strongly possible to have a working woman with a working career. Thank you, sir.
Sometimes these things just happen, and when it happened in my case,
Yeah.
it came without any money. Just crept up on me suddenly. I I remember I had gone for a church service that Sunday,
Yeah.
and I was actually conducting the service.
It was just not another church service.
Oh,
It was a harvest.
the ceremony.
So you can imagine the crowd
Oh.
there that day. And he was service conductor.
And then somewhere into the service, I began to feel very uncomfortable from inside.
Wow.
I began to feel very uncomfortable. I was feeling hot from inside, and then I thought perhaps it was the weather or the environment.
Yeah.
So I asked for someone to get me a standing fan, which they placed close to me while I was conducting the service, and it was blowing just me. It was concentrated on me, but the heat did not reduce from within. Then after a while, I asked for a bottle of water, cold water, hoping that would make me more comfortable. It didn't help. He brought me a bottle of cold water.
And I just see my husband go down. And I'm wondering, what's wrong? And then he comes back and then he goes down again. And I'm wondering, everybody's standing, he's down. When people are down, he's standing. I didn't get that. I just saw that they were bringing fans, water and everything for him.
To cut a long story short, I as I was about to leave, because I couldn't continue conducting the service, I was about to leave when I collapsed.
Of course I got up and ran outside. And because we go to the CCC church, Celestial Church of Christ, where the women cannot enter the house. So I went through the side door to access the altar from the side door. And I was almost jumping into the altar from the side door. But then I was cautioned, like, hey, Mama, don't enter now, you know. But I mean, at that point, I thought, yeah, I've lost it. That was what came to me. And that they were trying to cover up now. So I was trying to see what was going on, but there were quite a number of men on him trying to revive him and all of that and all of that.
It was quite a scene because it was right there inside the church, and people came around and revived him. And that was the beginning of the journey. Yes, I didn't know it was anything serious because I came back, I regained consciousness, and I was okay. I even came back into the service, but I didn't conduct the service again.
Yeah, but you finished the service.
Yes, I just sat there.
Yeah.
And I was watching what was going on.
Okay.
So I didn't think it was anything serious. I left and went to. For you to know, I didn't think it was anything serious. I didn't even go to the hospital on that day because I thought I was okay. I got home, I took my bath, and I went to bed. You know, it was about the following day or thereabout that I went to the hospital after being cajoled and coaxed to do.
Did you have any funny feeling?
No,
this
I
day?
didn't have anything. The only observation was that I was losing weight.
Okay.
I was losing weight.
Proud to the
yes, and I thought it was because I wasn't eating as I used to. Exactly. Beyond that, I wasn't feeling anything. So when I got to the hospital and they did a general check, they found out that the kidneys were not looking good.
Okay.
That was the first time I had that.
Yes. When you heard that, what was in your mind? Like kidney?
I was like,
from where to where? How did we get here?
How? But then I said, okay, let's go for a second opinion, which we eventually did. We went to the hospital, we tried it again.
Yeah.
In another hospital where we went, in the same hospital. Whoa, where are we going to start from? For me, dialysis was something I probably read about in the paper. Not that I have seen somebody who had been through dialysis,
And now your husband.
And then now it's my husband. So I'm like, I just couldn't put the two together.
So I left it and he said, once you get out of here, go straight to the hospital. take the results of the test and they will tell you what is wrong. So that was what I did when I got there. They told me I had to do some other tests. I did some other tests. They took a blood test and all that. And then they told me, first of all, the first thing they told me was that my blood level was very low.
Okay.
And that they had to do blood transfusion. So,
Just like that?
Yes, even then I didn't know the kidneys had packed. And I was put on admission. They did a blood transfusion, started pumping blood into me. Then the following day they did a kidney functions test and found out that the kidneys were not working at all.
Wow.
The two kidneys, not the kidneys. So it was at that point that I knew there was trouble. You know. And immediately they said I had to go on dialysis.
Immediately?
Yes. Because it had gotten that bad. I had to put me on dialysis twice a week. So that was how the journey started. I started doing dialysis. It was a tough period of my life, very tough, because to be frank with you, I wasn't sure I was going to come out of it.
I can imagine.
I was just being courageous and being strong, but deep in me, I was getting prepared, you know. It was as if it was like the journey was coming to an end.
That was the finality of it all.
So I didn't know how much time I had left, you know. So, but I just accepted the reality that it might happen anytime. Because on a few occasions too, while doing dialysis, there were times when I almost passed out. I think about 3 occasions, I almost lost my life right there on the machine. You know, and there was panic in the hospital, people running around. It happened 3 times. The 3rd time it happened, I wasn't sure I would come back to life.
I was scared.
That must have been really scary.
Really holding my hands and I was like, don't go, and I want to still know, sit down, sit there, just don't go, don't leave me alone, don't leave me alone. And then later on he got better and he stabilized. But that was one day that he never concluded his dialysis. Normally when we get onto the machine it's about 4 hours. But then this day I think he spent just about 45 minutes in that kind of happens. And he asked that the machine should disconnect because of the way he was feeling.
And then I went on after dialysis of about 8 months. 8 months of dialysis. I made up my mind that the doctors had told me anyway that the permanent solution to all this was to do a kidney transplant. A kidney transplant will cost about 20 million naira. The dialysis was costing about 150,000 naira every week.
Every week?
It was about 600,000 naira a month. And I did that for about 8 months. And then we had to go and do a transplant, which would cost about 20 million, inclusive of getting a donor.
The first time you heard kidney transplants now, what was the message that it sent to you?
The message it sent to me was that I should start tidying up, getting ready to go. That was the message. That was the message because these were the challenges. When they told me how much it would cost, I didn't have that kind of money. 20 million is a lot of money.
It is.
I didn't have that kind of money. So the first frightening reality was, where was I going to get that kind of money? 2, where would I get a donor from? They said to me, you have to get a donor, you can get your family members, blah blah blah, your siblings, and this. But now they now put a clause.
Okay.
They don't want anybody who has hypertension. They don't want anybody who is taking hypertension drugs and all that. I looked at my siblings. My elder sibling is hypertensive. He takes a lot of drugs, not even 1 or 2. My younger sister is also hypertensive. My wife is also hypertensive. She takes drugs too. When I told the doctors, they said, no, we can't touch all those ones. You have to go and get it done. So the message that sent to me again was I should start preparing to go. Because no money, no donor. And then my daughter offered
Wow.
to donate, but I said no.
Wow. She offered?
Yes, she offered and she was serious about it. But I said no. You are only 19 years old. You're in the university. You still have your whole life ahead of you. So why should I take a kidney from her at my age? And then put her in that kind of risky situation.
Yeah, that would be insensitive of you.
Yes, living with one kidney. So I told her no, I'm not going to take that. If it comes to, if I have to lose my life because of that, then so be it. But I'm not going to take that kidney from you. She didn't like it, but she accepted it.
But then, if the money was available, the donor was available, was it certain the kidney implant was going to be successful?
No, nothing can be certain at that stage. Nothing can be certain. The doctors will do all they can do. They will do, but nobody can say, hey, 100% you are going to survive. Nobody can tell you that. If they tell you that, they are not being sincere. They are not being true. There's always the element of the element of risk is always there. That something might go wrong, something might happen,
Or even to the donor.
Or even, yes, even to the donor. So even if you had the money, eventually the money came. Yes, eventually, and that was also...
That was the first miracle.
That was the first miracle. Money came, the money came. Just one individual.
For people who really do not believe in miracles, I believe strongly now that we know miracles are real.
Of course, miracles are very real.
Yeah.
Very real.
Yeah. So you said the donor walked up to you voluntarily.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And but the funny thing about it is that is it unfortunate? The donor walked up to me and we went into for the tests.
Yeah.
Something called a cross-matching test.
Yeah, to be sure you can actually donate.
Yes, I can actually donate
Yeah.
to me. But when the test came out, it was negative. The donor did not match me.
Wow.
So the anxiety continued. That was very painful. How do I get another job? My family members had been ruled out. My wife had been ruled out. I had ruled out my daughter. So I came back to Lagos. And I just put all my faith and hope in God.
You believe in God?
Oh yeah, very much. Very, very much. I just put all my faith in God. God wants me to still be here. Then He will do something about it. So, 2 weeks later, I got a call, and it was a call from a doctor friend, from a medical doctor friend, who said to me that someone had come to had brought someone to donate for him. A patient like me had brought a donor to donate for him, but the donor did not match that person. The donor did not match that person, but that the donor is insistent on donating. So he wants me to talk to that donor and see if the donor that can match that person
Was going to match me.
So he sent me the person's number and I called the person. The first thing he said to me, I was in Lagos, he was in Calabar. I said, okay, this is why I'm calling you. Would you do this? And he said, well, he would. He made a statement. He said, I just want to help. That I would like to help. I had never met him. I had never seen him. I did not know him. He said, I want to help. When my wife asked him, would you do it? Are you going to do it? He said, no, that if it's to save a life, I want to help. I want to help if it's going to save a life. So that was the foundation for our discussion. So we eventually met him, a young man, in his 20s, late 20s, late 30s.
Really?
Yes, we met and we went in for the test again. But this time the match is perfect. You know, so
That is good.
and then yes, that is good. And then we went to the hospital.
Okay.
The funding too was a miracle.
Yeah.
And I need to say that, I need to tell people that for those who don't believe in God, for those who don't believe in miracles, I think I need to mention that because I didn't have the funds. I didn't have the funds. And if you know my kind of person, I don't know how to go to people cap in hand to beg. I would rather die. I don't know how to do it. Sometimes, most times, my wife and I have quarreled over this because I know a lot of.
Yeah, because
I know a lot of people.
Of course.
I know a lot of big people, wealthy people in this country. If I drop my name, they will open their doors. So, oh, I come from. But I don't know how to do it. Even when I was active in journalism, a lot of my colleagues do it. I know. They make a lot of money from people, from their goodwill, from their relationships. But I don't do it. Not because I'm proud or arrogant, but because it is just not me. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to go cap in hand. I don't know how to do it. You know, so it may be a limitation. It may be an inadequacy on my part. Hey, that's how God made me. That's how I am.
A few of us are actually like that.
So it was a problem. If I knew how to do that, I could have raised 100 million. Yes, very easy.
Because we didn't even get to hear the
Very easy.
fundraising, thank God. Yeah.
But the reason why I'm saying this that is also God is that a young friend, a younger friend, who is also a journalist, came to my wife through my wife and got to hear about my situation. And then he suggested I was going to mention it to someone. The person incidentally that I was going to mention it to also happened to be a friend of mine. He's one of the wealthiest men in this country. We had been friends for a long time, even before he became this wealthy. I didn't even know about it. He wasn't talking to me, he was talking to my wife. That's the younger friend. So I didn't know anything was happening. So he went and saw the person in question. And he dropped my name that, you know, kind of like that. I said, yes, I know him, he's my friend. But I've not seen him in a long time. You know, I said, he's very sick now. He has renal failure. And the person in question said, so where is he? I said, he's in the hospital. He said, okay. I'll tell him, give me his wife's phone number and we'll do something about it. Wow. So he called my wife and said, I've given this person your phone number and they will call you. I was in the hospital. I don't think my wife told me on that day. Maybe the following week was when she told me. He said they're going to call me. Truly, someone called and said his doctor so and so is calling from this person. He's a former consultant, surgeon, and so. You know, and introduced himself. Didn't know anything about that. He said he wanted to talk to the doctors treating me. And so they gave him access to the doctors and they told him what was wrong. And he now said to my wife that, okay, fine, since he's going on dialysis, we're going to take charge of the bills. He didn't tell us the name of the person.
Yeah.
He said, but one of your husband's friends wants to help. And he says all the expenses before now, they should calculate it. He wants to pay it. And then going forward, he's also going to be paying everything.
Like
You know, so
the highest height of miracle.
so that was how I started doing dialysis and all that. He paid some millions to the hospital for dialysis and said anytime I do dialysis, they should just deduct. So I didn't have any headache doing dialysis. I'll just go there, they will deduct it. So that took care of that. And then he said, when I am ready for the transplant, they should let me. But truly, for a long time, I was not ready for the transplant. I was not ready because I was not psychologically ready. Yes. In fact, whenever the doctors told me, tried to psych me up by saying, are you preparing for your transplant? Some kind of hatred will build up in me for that doctor. I didn't want to hear it. Because I had this mindset that transplant will end in death. And so anybody pushing me to go and do transplant wanted to kill me. You know, so the doctors will always say, are you preparing? You have to get ready for your transplant. The way this thing. Because I was hanging on to one small hope. Very tiny hope like that. That the kidneys will begin to work again. You know? So, no, after the dialysis, after a few more sessions of dialysis, I'm sure my kidneys will peak and will start working. But when the first month went, second month, third month, fourth month, and I was still doing dialysis, and kidneys were not peaking, that hope began to diminish. And I was faced with the reality that the way out of this thing was to do a transplant. So I think it was about the 6th or 7th month. I spoke to my wife and said, I think I want to do this transplant.
Like, are you serious? You're ready? Because you see, when you're at the receiving end, you cannot know who that person, when the person is psychologically ready for something, and you're the closest person to that person, the immediate thing and the nicest thing you can do for that person is to support that person and be on the same page. If you're not on the same page with your husband and you're praying that prayer of agreement, then I don't know what you're doing. But what we did was, I just encouraged him immediately, and both of us just said, okay, you know what, we're going to this, we're going to this, like that. So we were not ready to tell anybody at that point in time, because telling anybody can just be so discouraging. People were coming from one angle, we're scared, from another angle, this, you know. So we just went into a prayer of agreement together, and the rest is history today.
So if I had made up my mind before then, I would have done the transplant a long time ago. If I had found it.
Maybe it was just time for you today.
Exactly. So when I made up my mind, we went to see the doctor.
Okay.
As my friend said. And he told me that I was ready. And he paid.
Wow.
The 21st of September 2021. I went in for the surgery. I remember that day when they wheeled me into the operating theatre. They asked me if I wanted them to put me to sleep or I wanted to be awake. I remember somebody asked that and I said I would rather be awake.
Yeah.
You know. So they did something called epidural.
Yeah.
So I was awake. I knew when they started the surgery. Even though there was a curtain to cover I couldn't see what they were doing down there.
Well, while your husband was in there in the theatre, what were you doing?
I was pacing and praying and singing. And I was just in the corridor there doing my own thing.
Yeah.
And of course, I was intense.
Yeah.
I was just giving praise. Yes, because I knew that if my faith shook for a second, I may just lose it. So I was just full of hopes and praise, knowing that God had done it already.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing I was hearing. That's the only voice I kept hearing that he's going to come out and like he's going to survive this.
But after a while, it's a 4 hour procedure. So I was awake, I think, for about 45 minutes, 1 hour. And then I dozed off. By the time I woke up, I had them talking, cracking jokes, they were talking, they were laughing. And I just opened my eyes and I was, these people have not finished. Then one of them came round to my side and said, are you awake? I said, yes. He said, congratulations. I said, congratulations. He said, yes, congratulations. We are almost done. Your kidney is working perfectly. So he said, it's working perfectly. You know, he was excited, he was shouting, he said, perfectly. I was surprised. Working perfectly.
What was the feeling like at that point?
I was just looking at him, I wasn't feeling anything. Then he pointed at the catheter. There is a catheter there in the bag where the urine was dripping.
Okay.
And the thing was almost full. He said, your kidney is making urine. The bag is almost full. So I looked at it. And they said, we're sewing it up now. They were sewing me up. So I just smiled. And then when they finished, they said, okay, we're done. We can take you to the ward now. So they carried me, put me on another stretcher.
What was running through your mind at that time?
I wanted to see my wife.
Uh-uh.
Yeah. I wanted to see my wife.
They eventually wheeled him out.
So your husband?
And I like gave him the thumbs up and he rolled at me and was like, so I needed to snap him on the
wheelchair?
on the
stretcher.
Stretcher.
Okay.
And you won't do that. But you know we are Nigerians now, there's nothing we can't do. So anyway, he said I wanted to hug. He said, hug, no, don't touch, you can't touch him. No, you can't touch him, you can't kiss him, you can't do anything. You know, but then I was glad to see that he was alive and he was conscious.
Yeah.
Seeing me and recognizing me, seeing me and even being able to wave at me, you know, meant a lot and went a long way for me. So
it seemed like you're a lover.
Yeah. So, and the reality now hit me that, so I've done this thing. You know, and then they took me into the ICU.
Okay.
And I was going to be there for 1 week.
Okay.
No communication with anybody.
Not even your wife?
No, nobody. No phone, nothing. Because you could be infected very easily.
Hey.
So I was there. Since I was the first of the 16 that they did in my batch,
Number one.
I was number one. So I was the only one in the ICU. It was a big room with so many beds.
Yeah.
So I stayed there all night alone with the nurses. I woke up in the morning, my wife came, but she could only wave to me through a glass. There was a big glass. Visitors were not allowed in there.
Okay.
So by the following day, they brought the second person, put him beside my bed. It was an older man, about 60 something, going to 70. Put him beside my bed. By evening, they brought another person, a third person. By the third day, the room was almost filled up. So I was there for 1 week. I said I saw God's hand every inch of the way. Normally, you stay for 7 days in the ICU. That's the rule.
Okay.
But on the 6th day, they said they should take me out. And I was okay.
Hallelujah.
Then, the other miracle I saw was that after the surgery, even the doctors were amazed, the way the kidneys peaked, the way the kidneys started working. The doctor had to go out to tell my wife, is that man there your husband? And she said,
Series of miracles.
She said yes, and he said, he's messed up the whole bed, his kidneys are working perfectly, So I think God just showed himself in my case.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's also a testimony that if you believe in him, if you serve him the way you should, will always, it will never come late when you need him. It will never.
Yes, so sir, on 24th September 2021, we proceeded to have the transplant.
Sure.
So how has it been afterwards?
Well, one thing I need to say here is that a lot of people make the mistake that going for a transplant is the height of it. No. The management of the patient after the transplant, I think, is more important.
Post-surgery.
Post-transplant. Because you see, there were 16 of us, for instance, when I did my surgery. In that batch, 16 people did the surgery. 16 of us left the hospital. 16 of us. Which means that the 16 surgeries were successful. We were all in the hospital for 6 weeks. No, 6 weeks to 8 weeks. After the surgery, we were still in the hospital for a long time. We left the hospital and stayed in the hospital guest house. So that means we didn't leave immediately after the surgery.
Yeah.
We were going in for checkups and all that. 16 of us, we all survived. But I speak with you today, 2 are dead. Yes. Which means that it was after the surgery. The management after the surgery. It's far more important, because when you are back in your house, the doctors are not living with you. You have to take your drugs when you need to take them. You have to eat only those things that you should eat. You have to be conscious of your hygiene. One of them caught an infection, and it was that infection that killed him. The other one that died, we don't know how he did it, but he got infected with COVID. He survived transplant and got COVID, and it was the COVID that killed him.
My husband is not somebody who is washing hand, testing every second, washing hand. But now he's diving into the bathroom, he's washing his hands, and all of that. Because the hygiene must be top-notch. If it's not, if he catches the slightest of infection any times, it's just not going to work.
There's a tendency for you after the transplant to forget what you have gone through. There is a tendency for you to think you are okay, but you are not. Yes. One, your immunity is very low. You are taking anti-suppressant drugs. Those drugs reduce your immunity, which means you are prone to catching infections. Because those drugs will suppress your immunity so that your body does not fight the kidney that has been given to you. If your immunity is working perfectly, it will fight that kidney and it will kill that kidney. So the drugs you are taking are reducing your immunity. Your immune system is very weak. As it's reducing it, you can easily catch an infection. I can easily catch malaria now, which your own immunity will fight. So I have to be careful not to allow mosquitoes to bite me. You understand? I have to be careful that I'm wearing my face mask when I'm in the crowd. I have to avoid crowded areas. But a lot of people, once they're out of transplant, it's the management after transplant that is the real problem. I have seen a post-transplant patient drinking alcohol. Yes, I saw it. And we had to keep talking to him. Why are you doing this? Do you want to kill yourself? I said, go sing or nothing. A post-transplant patient, myself and my wife, we called him, we started advising, we started talking to him. He would drink wine, red wine, he would drink alcohol. He was taking alcohol and just living his life as if. And then tomorrow that person will have a crisis. And he will say the kidney, the kidney will fail.
Yeah.
Somewhere down the line, you put too much pressure on it, it will fail. So it's the post-transplant management
Yeah.
that is really key. It's really, really key. There are people who have done transplant and have lived for 20 years after, more than 20 years after. It all boils down to the way you manage it.
Yeah.
You have to keep going for your checkups. When I left, I was doing my checkups twice in a month. Then after a while, it became once in a month. Now, 6 months later, it's once in 3 months. You understand?
Yeah.
After a while, it will, and then the drugs. Initially, when I want to take my drugs, I'll pack drugs in my a lot, and I'll throw them in my mouth. Now it's just a few drugs, and it's not every 2 hours. Before it was, you take a 6, you take a 8, you take a 10, you take a 12, you take a 2, 4, 6.
That's progress.
Yes, but now you take a 10, you don't take again until maybe 6.
That's progress.
But you see people skipping their drugs, drinking alcohol, eating the wrong foods, eating heavily. They eat heavily, as if, and then the problem will start somewhere down the line.
And thank God that he was able to regain back his looks.
Yeah.
Because that was worrisome for me at some point, because then I used to say, you're aging, look at the mirror, you feel like you're about 80, But then all of that has just taken a huge,
looking a lot
turn.
younger now.
Even looking younger than he was before, fresher than he was before.
Yeah.
But it's just begging for me that weight is just
That's a good one. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. So what few words are you going to share with viewers out there?
I must say, a lot of people are sick. A lot of people have underlying. A lot of people
don't even know
health issues. There's a lot of drama when it comes to your health. I think a lot of us should pay more attention to it. After this happened to my husband, I've never ever gone for a comprehensive medical thing before in my life. But seeing what happened to him right there was the first time I went in for a comprehensive check. Once you actually are from the age of 35, you must begin to look thoroughly into your body metabolism. It's more, yes, from 35.
Yeah.
It's that bad. You must begin to look into it. Check all your organs, your internal organs. If you're a woman, make sure you go for a mammogram regularly, because that's another killer. That's another killer. So, my advice is for everybody, if you can afford to buy your lace and buy jewelry for a slay, I don't see why you can't take that to the bank.
You can slay your looks. You shouldn't let your health slay you.
If you can just buy your bone straight hair,
like you have now,
then you should be able to go in for your medicals as well.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be ignorant of the fact that a lot of people are carrying underlying, whether it's you're conscious of it or not. A lot of us are carrying. Nigeria is enough for you to have any underlying. I promise you. Right now, there's no fuel. Right now, there's no light. Nothing is working. The government, everything is just
happening at the same time.
So whilst you are busy worrying over that, now athletes on strike, your children are back. This, that. You don't know when these things will just quietly creep in. You start with blood pressure. You start with hypertension. It's just a lot. So we should try and do that more regularly with our health.
So a quick one, what should we be expecting from you in the few years to come?
When I survived, I told God that if I come out of this thing, I will serve Him. It was a vow, it was between me and God, nobody. And if I survive this experience, and I come back to being what I was, who I was, because at that time I wasn't like this. You just need to see me and you know that something was terribly wrong. And I made a vow with God, and as we go along, I will keep that vow. So if you are asking what are people to expect from me, they should expect to see a man who will be closer to God, who will serve God in every way he knows and in everything he can do to glorify his name and to spread the word of God and let people know that God is alive.
Yeah. We pray God gives you the grace and the enablement to be able to do all that and more.
Amen.
In Jesus' name. Thank you, sir, for having me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Pleasure is
I look forward to coming back to you in another 20 years,
no,
in another 30 years.
God's grace.
By God's grace.
Amen.
Thank you so much, sir.
With all the praise of the Lord, oh Lord, thank you, thank you, Lord. Oh Lord, thank you.